Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guests tonight are filmmakers Jordan and Julie Selander. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Wow, well, it's Selander, but like literally everyone is like Solander or
Sometimes you give it out.
yeah, close enough.
Okay, we'll keep it close. You guys did a horror short film called No Grave for the Dead. Can you tell me about that and how did that become to be a short horror film?
All right. So the initial idea started. It was supposed to just be a music video of like a ghost dancing in a graveyard. I was kind of inspired. Like I was just driving back and forth to visit my folks in Michigan, and then driving back to Chicago. And they had this like little like on the highway coming back. There's like a little graveyard that I'm always like, oh, that'd be cool to shoot there. Obviously, there's no graveyard in the movie or anything, but we did keep the like idea of a ghost dancing in it.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be a music video, and we pitched it to like a bunch of, well, not a bunch, but enough bands, some bands, and they're always like, yeah, that's a cool idea, but it's not for us really. So, anyways, like it was the pandemic and lockdowns were happening. We couldn't, like, we've always been trying to shoot this feature film, this found footage movie. And then like that just extended like us not shooting it. I was like, we really need to like just test new cameras, and like we're falling behind in the times. Like let's rent some camera and shoot something. So we decided to like expand it just to get the different settings.
Yeah, he pitched,
play with the camera.
Yeah, he pitched it to me basically on a ride to Michigan, and I was like, oh, I love it. Yeah, very long. Like literally, we had this idea for like.
Well, like it was just like supposed to be like little snippets we would see like to fit in a music video.
Yeah, it was like 10-year idea.
Yeah, and we were just like, all right, let's pull the trigger on this one because it's the easiest to film with the smallest crew out of everything that exists in our brain right now.
True.
That's wild. So, Julie, the short film starts off, you're hitchhiking, trying to get a ride, and then you get picked up by a mysterious stranger. And the whole thing about the film, I love how you acted in the film. You didn't say like a word. You just used facial expressions, your mannerisms, which you could understand what the character was feeling, which I think that was kind of cool. And you just nailed that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was kind of hard because in one sense, obviously dialogue complicates a scene much more, but like it's also a challenge to do like a silent film, if you will. And I feel like I played almost like 4 different characters. You have my hitchhiking real self. Then, I'm like this flirty girl trying to hook up with Philip, or Bud is his character's name. And then, you have me as a dead body and then me as a ghost. So it was really fun because I got to like explore so many different avenues with the character.
Yeah, and in the scene when you were in a hotel room, with the serial killer, the scene where you found out what he was all about, seeing all those pictures of all those, dead young women, and then all of a sudden he comes from behind you and starts like strangling you. Did you guys like prepare for that scene to know what you guys were doing?
So we verbally prepared. We had to kind of go behind his back a little. And I told Philip, I told him, I'm like, you gotta kind of pull on it a little. Like, let me work with it a little bit. And he did it perfectly.
He was trained in like
fighting,
stage combat.
Yeah.
So, that was like a really cool reason to have him play the role as well, because like he knows how to like make it look good but still keep it pretty safe,
but still let me actually
could have like afforded or knew a stunt coordinator, but like the best we had is what we had to work with, which was the actors. So
also too, like my dance background came in handy with that. I was in a professional ballet company for like 10 years. Grew up dancing since I was like 3 years old, so that definitely helped.
I know you made it like so lifelike, man. You were just like getting strangled, like you were really like dying. And I was watching this film because I was so invested in it. I was like, damn, why did they have to kill her, man? How come it could be the other way around, man? You can't be doing this. I was so invested in it, and I was like, damn.
Honestly, after the first couple of screenings, everyone's like, "That's how we wanted it." I was like, "Maybe we got it all wrong. Like, you should have just killed Philip."
Yeah, like we didn't make it into a couple of the first film festivals we entered into, and we were like, "Shoot, maybe it is like too intense," you know. But like, I don't know. I do a lot of like expressions with like my eyes and eyebrows.
Yeah,
and
I noticed
then making
that.
my face wide as possible while trying to be relaxed, and that definitely helps. So
what was weird is we only shot it like a couple of times, but because we had the two cameras going,
true.
You could kind of like
you
could lengthen it and like so that was kind of part of it, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't as long as it seemed.
Yeah, like when we were shooting, it was like, oh, there's another like half minute. Like
yeah.
It's like, oh, don't worry, that's just a stunt person. That's not really the actress.
I know, right?
Except for
I
that
loved
time.
it though.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun. Like there was like, I'm trying to think like how long it really lasted, and it felt super short while we were filming it. You know, it was like, okay, we're moving on.
Yeah. So how long did you guys film that for?
4 days.
So yeah, it was like I think it was a 3-day total shoot that we like spaced out into 4, and then the majority we were at the motel. I would say,
yeah, the first 2 or 3 days, or yeah.
And then the other half was obviously at the other.
I think
location.
it was 4 days because the 4th day was the morning.
Yeah, so
field.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do any spoilers, but towards the end, since you had like, you know, ballet dance experience and you were part from a company, that dance you did was just so mesmerizing, and it was like so hypnotic and traumatizing and sad and happy at the same time. That's how I picked it up. And it was just an amazing choreograph. I mean, it was like, whoa.
Which is great. It's funny you say that, and I'm like, I feel like so appreciative because honestly, it was mostly all improv. We got out there and like we realized we couldn't film where we actually wanted to because it was a mud river, and so we had to like switch where we were gonna do it. And so I just had to kind of modify all these like ideas that I had, and so I just sort of like winged it. I was like, all right, let's do it. And then he had to get a bunch of close-ups too.
Everyone else
to
was
like,
packing up.
yeah, while they were packing up because we were getting close. We had to be out of there by like 11 or something, and it was like 10:55, and I was still dancing. So it was like, okay, get as much as we can and call it a day.
I mean, I liked it. It was wild. I mean, I was just like, whoa. You know?
Well, like, I feel like it was awesome, too, because it's like, in a way, we give you closure. A lot of times in horror movies, you know, it's like, okay, that person's just, like, dead, you know? But in a way, it's like I come back one last time and I, like, settle on, okay, I'm dead. I realize what happened to myself, and now I can say goodbye, you know?
Yeah, I like how it. Yeah, I like how it ended. I mean, it was just perfect. I mean, for a horror film. You guys showed it at Days of the Dead Film Festival in Atlanta, and congratulations for getting Best Actress.
Thank you. It was awesome. I'm so honored. I'm like, what?
Very, very proud.
Yes, that was such a great moment.
Well, you should be very proud. I mean, you were improv and not speaking. You were just using body language. I mean, you know, that was just pretty good, and I'm glad you got that award. I mean,
me too. Audrey and George, like, they run the whole thing, and Sophia helped with the Atlanta location, but oh man, they put in so much work for this, and I was just like super honored and proud that they like felt you know, I put so much into it. I mean, you know, I laid on ground, frozen. You know, I really went all out, and I was like, I'm glad that they could tell, like, it, you know, it paid off, you know? So I was like, oh, I'm so glad that they, like, got it, you know? Because I could see, like, maybe some of our friends not quite grasping what happens. But, I mean, I feel like it's pretty straightforward for the most part. But, yeah, it was just cool that they, like, could see it the way that we envisioned other people seeing it, you know?
Could you see you guys doing this like as a feature film?
We've been asked.
Yeah.
We kind of, I don't know, we kind of feel like it's almost like a little one-off. Like, we don't want to, like, spoil it, but then everyone's like, oh, you know, you should bring Bud back and have all the
I don't
ghosts
want to do
kill
that
him.
like 8 times. Well, like that would be cool, but
Yeah,
like,
have all the
like,
ghosts
come on,
kill him.
Like, yeah, you know, I'm like that was. I don't know. I feel like it was born out of just like. I mean, we had a lot of trauma and like going on to just in our lives as well. That like it wasn't born because of that. Like we'd had the idea for a while and everything, but like when we were getting ready to make it, you know, we'd had like been to 5 or 6 funerals at that point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really bad.
It was really bad. And some of them were like, you know, close friends of ours too.
Yeah.
So we just kind of had this like, you know, we were just around it all the time. And then like, what was, and then like you were always just walking out into a world. She would, you know, works as a nurse and I work at an airport. So it was just like, you never really knew what was around the corner, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
So I feel like the energy of that film, like they always say, you can tell where like the filmmakers are.
True.
Like when they made it, I feel like you can definitely tell it was like born. It was like a lockdown baby. We always call it. Like,
the lockdown baby.
Yeah. So like I don't know if I don't even know if we have that in us anymore. Like as
to like continue it as a feature.
Like in that vein. Although like I do want to see justice. I guess like.
We'll see.
But yeah, to be continued. Long-winded answer.
Hey, I have to say, fingers crossed on that, and that's so sad to hear you guys went to a lot of funerals. I mean, out of my whole life, I only been to one, and it was my friend's dad's funeral. That was it. So I've never really been to like tons of funerals, man. So that had been hard.
I was like. You just start feeling like numb.
Well, and actually the interesting thing was like I really was thinking about all the people that had passed while I was having to be on a frozen ground. And I was like, you know, I kept like, because, you know, I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to do it. But I was like, you know what? Yeah, no, it was so cold. And I was just like, you know what? None of these people who passed will ever be able to feel what I'm feeling right now anymore, you know? So that was like a little motivation for me too, in a weird way. You know, it's like, I don't know. We've got messed up brains, I guess.
Just dealing like, yeah.
Like, that's how we dealt with our
I don't know if we filmed it way earlier. I don't know what it even been as dark. It might have just been like a music video of a ghost dancing.
True.
Like,
yeah.
So, yeah.
So, when you showed it at, Days of the Dead, you watched it with an audience. So how did the audience take it when you were watching it, while you were watching them watching it, and then how did they take it after they saw it?
I feel like I heard a lot of gasps.
Yeah, with the one shot, you know, where she goes down to grab her bag and she's sitting there.
Yeah, like we got like a lot of gasps. We met some other filmmakers who we ended up speaking with, and what did Arik say?
Yeah, he was just saying like it was really good, but like he's like it was really good, but dude, it was so dark.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I guess a lot of the other films, you know, I guess there are a lot of horror comedies in there. I mean, we have a funny moment. We have a chuckle.
Yeah.
Anyways, he was just like, it's so dark, and like, was just saying that, and I was, you know, then we kind of explained to him, like, yeah, it was just a weird time in our life, I guess.
But it also was cool because a lot of people said that they felt like we had a very stylized theme,
like they complimented us on, and a lot of them were like, yeah, way to stick it to not throwing dialogue in there. Like,
silent film.
And the photography was great in the film. That's what I have to say. I like noticing stuff like cinematography, photography, lighting, but the photography was pretty good.
We ended up renting the Sony, I believe it's the 47S3, and beautiful lenses. It was just like so great to work with that, and we actually ended up I bought him that camera because like we gotta use it. Always.
So it was our first time using it. Dan and Corey were the main cinematographers on the film. We did have like storyboards, kind of more just like, here's how other films did it. Like, let's kind of set it up this way.
But yeah, Dan and Corey, they basically
got like whenever we were just on the run, like, okay, they're coming from this angle, he's coming from that angle, like,
and they know Jordan so well now that like they knew.
You want
exactly
the Sam Raimi angle?
Okay,
yeah.
Sam Raimi.
Okay.
Yes.
You want the can film? Like, let's go for it. Yeah.
So, Julie, what was it like working with Bud on the set?
He's my friend from 4th grade.
Yeah.
Your friend from 4th grade? Wow.
Yeah.
They grew up filming together
Like my
from
brother.
like 10 or 12 or.
We finally got our first camera at 14. Yeah, 13, 14. And we were shooting with it. So like.
So I've known him for
on and off,
years.
20 years.
Yeah, and so like it was great because it's like I love Philip. Like he's like a trained actor out in LA, and like he's very professional, and like but he's also really funny. Like he's hysterical. We're like, I never want to meet this guy.
Like, oh, that sucks for you, man. Like you should really want to meet him.
He's like really jolly, and like
you'll laugh quite a bit.
Yeah, you laugh quite a bit with him, like always.
So yeah, like it was cool because I hadn't seen him in so long, honestly. So
yeah, but it was great working with him.
Yeah, great to see him again.
Yeah,
and great to see him in Atlanta too.
True.
Oh man, he was just so serious in that role too, you know.
Dude, I got so many silly videos.
Like literally, like my mom is like, I never want to meet him, and I'm like, Mom, I'm pretty sure you maybe have already, but like that's all right.
So, Jordan, when you said when you were younger you were making films, what was your first film you made as a kid?
It was also with Philip. It's called documentary The Chicken. It was 8th grade. Our acting teacher, we were like in theater class.
Yeah.
She was like, your final, like, grade, you have to do a short film. 2 to 4 minutes, and we made like a 24-minute film. And it was like done in the Blair Witch style. Because we only had one camera and like we weren't allowed to edit, so I was like, we have to make the edits very basic, like, and we can like quick tighten it up, like in the broadcasting room we get like 1 hour to do everything. And so it's about this camera crew who goes to make a documentary on chickens, and then a werewolf with a trench coat, just wearing a mask, but in their world a werewolf with a trench coat runs in and starts eating the chickens. So the rest of the movie follows them trying to track this werewolf down. And they're odd adventures.
Hey, that would be fun. Why don't you make that film, man? Like adult version. That would rock.
True. That is an idea.
There's a character named Mo Ron, I believe. Like,
Mo Ron.
Yeah. Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, Ben Dover is the reporter. Like, it was just a silly movie we made. Fake blood spewing everywhere.
All their voices are like
cracking.
Yeah, cracking. It's hysterical.
I think Phil gets pulled off like 2 times in that movie. It's 2 separate characters.
That, like I said, that would be fun if you did adult version. I would so watch that just for the great laugh.
30-year reunion.
Yes, I guess he's gonna have to do it now.
Yeah, you should do it, and you gotta let me know because I gotta definitely, check that out. But yeah. So when you guys are not like not filmmaking, what does Julie and Jordan enjoy doing? What do you like to do? Like unwinding, or do you guys get crazy, or what?
We do like to do like photography. So we've been like messing around and like doing like some like horror shoots specifically.
We just like to see what looks good like on film.
With fake blood.
So like that's the thing with the fake blood, we like never even get a chance to like when we use it, it's always for comedic purposes because like we're not quite there yet, So at this movie, it was odd because like there was no fake blood, and like this is the most like horrified people.
But
so we've been trying to mess around with like effects and stuff,
and like we like to imitate. Like we love watching like old Giallo movies and recreating the shots. Yeah,
the music box was playing them too.
Yeah.
That's just like January. They just finished playing. I went to all 5. She made as many as she could.
3.
But that was really cool. But like they just have such cool cinematography and like with the lightings and stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't even like exploit it as much as we did with this last movie.
True.
We like played a kind of Midwestern tone with it. But
but we really like movies.
Yeah, we like going to movies.
Yeah.
What else do we do? Movies.
I mean, if I can, I'll try to take a dance class here and there. Keep it alive, even though I retired.
Why not? Do a little dance, man. Teach some wild, crazy. Teach them some We're going to teach you horror 101. We're going to teach you how to spill blood on each other and dance at the same time.
Yeah, right? Why not? Yes.
Have a horror ballet recital with blood and everything flying around.
We have a movie idea, actually.
Oh, really? What's the idea?
So my company basically, what do you call it? We collaborated with this aerial dance Chicago company, and we were like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we had these aerial artists like up in the silks and somehow incorporate the blood? We can't give it away completely, but we definitely the dance horror ballet. Remember?
The short film?
No, the feature.
Wow!
Oh, yeah.
I would watch that.
Yeah. And it's supposed to have a very shocking ending.
I can't afford the ending.
I know.
But we figured out a way to not do it. All I need is a theater for like a month.
Yeah.
When they're closed. we'll make sure we'll wipe up.
But there is an idea.
So what other film projects are you guys working on?
We just wrote 2 short film ideas we've had cooking, and like the goal is to like finally get rid of some of these ideas so that we can hopefully develop new ones. Also
to perfect our gore. So we're trying to do like 2 more shorts, and then we want to do the feature that we've had in mind for like 10 years. So we're like, 13, excuse me. But yeah, so we're like, okay, let's do the shorts, see how it goes, and maybe we can cram our feature in at the end of summer. Well, so we're like, fingers crossed, but at least get these shorts in. Like kind of like a vampire-esque one, and then we have another one based off of an old Criterion movie called The Red Shoes.
Ooh, I remember that. That is a classic, man.
Yep.
I could see you.
Yeah, but like make it modern times.
That would be wild. So,
this time.
Yes, dialogue.
So have you guys been going to a lot of film festivals?
I mean, not like a ton, but like we did go to one in Lombard. Yeah, we went to Lombard. We were invited to one in Tennessee, but we just couldn't make it. And then Virginia. Yeah.
So we really wanted to go to the Virginia one. Their theater looked really awesome and rad, but we found out about Days of the Dead at the last second. And not at the last second, they gave us enough heads up, but we wanted to get like some merch and stuff for the Chicago show, and that like sucked any funds we had for a road trip out there.
Yeah, we were like, never mind.
So, but I hear it was really awesome too.
Yeah, me too.
I wish we could have been there.
Yeah. And then we're going to go to New York for the festival out there, the upstate New York one.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a couple more, but we're still kind of waiting
on
But you applied to that one that he suggested.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah.
You applied for Horror Hound. Horror Hound Film Festival is one of the best film festivals out there. I mean, that's where everybody goes, the top filmmakers. I mean, they get people from around the world, locally, everywhere, and they have awesome awards too. And I love their award statue. It's like a werewolf. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always wanted to go, obviously. I looked up the lineups and stuff, but I was just like, well, I mean, I guess Days of the Dead gave us, like, it was just such a fun experience. Like, even just outside, like, we were just happy to be there. And then when they were making the announcements for the nominations, we were just like, that's so cool.
So
that they didn't think of,
like, that we were included as a nominee.
At all. They let this little silent short film. Like, that's so sweet of them. But, like, beyond that, it was just cool to be around, like, as a convention too. So you get to meet a lot of the people in the horror scene. We just got Deborah Sue Voorhees was
she was great.
Deborah Voorhees was so cool. If you're into filmmaking at all, I highly recommend going and talking to her if you see her around. She was from Friday the 13th Part
5.
Yeah.
But like it was cool to watch everybody else's films.
Yeah.
That was like that was the really fun part about it. And I mean, obviously everyone's films play at these festivals, but not everyone stays to watch,
Yeah.
Sometimes you go in there, there's like 6 people watching,
so, like, when you sit down and like when you watch it with them, you end up seeing something really cool and you're like Like, I wasn't expecting. We saw some really cool films.
Yeah.
Shout out to hashtag.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of good indie films out.
We really want to find out Susie Q.
Yeah.
We track down that director.
Yes.
Susie Q. Speaking of Susie Q, if you really want to talk to that director, I'm friends with his girlfriend Celeste.
Oh yeah, he mentioned her. Yeah,
that's a podcast.
Very cool.
I listened to the podcast. I think.
Yeah.
We got his post.
Yeah, Celeste is really nice. She's a great friend. She's really nice, and they're going to be showing Susie Q at Whorehound next month at the film festival. Yeah. If you want, I can talk to Celeste and get her boyfriend to talk to you.
Yeah,
that'd be rad.
Yeah, because we want to watch their film because we heard so many good things about it. So I'm like, I heard it was a hit.
Yeah. It's like, damn, we had 2 opportunities.
I know.
Standing in line for an autograph.
Shame on you, man. I'm gonna be watching it. I'll be watching that Whorehound in Cincinnati, and then I'll email you guys and go, haha, guess what I saw.
Yeah, let me know. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, I'll talk to her, and then I can see her boyfriend reaching out to you if you guys want to work together or see the film or not. But yeah, I can see what I can do.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would appreciate that.
So where can everybody find you on social media?
Okay, so we have mostly Instagram. We were so far only Instagram, so it's just No Grave for the Dead. Obviously, no spaces in there. My personal account is Ruby_Red_Jules Jules.
Okay,
and then yours is.
I think it's all one word. Yeah, Wolfman Punk 41.
Wolfman Punk 41. Yeah, I love it. You got the Universal Monster shirt. Yeah.
Yes,
dude, you got to represent. Come on, man. Universal Horror Monsters.
This might be the only time I get to talk horror on a podcast. So I was like.
He's like, I gotta wear it.
It's like, I gotta wear that shirt, man. Mine's the Creature. My favorite's the Creature from Black Lagoon. That's just my baby.
He's up there for me. I like Bride, Wolfman. Yeah, I like them all.
I do too, but I also like the British horror ones too. Hammer. I like the Hammer.
Yeah, dude, those are good. They got some good ones out there. What was it? Curse of the Werewolf, I think it was.
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah, and they had good makeup in that too.
They had a lot of good makeup and stuff in those, and very bloody.
Yeah, Frankenstein too. And Christopher Lee was just like,
oh, he's phenomenal.
Always, you can't go wrong.
And then Peter Cushing, come on, Peter Cushing, man.
Right. Like, I know him from those movies, not Star Wars. I know he's in Star Wars, but every time I see A New Hope, I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Dr. Van Helsing or Victor Frankenstein.
That's just like Christopher Lee being in the Star Wars prequel films as a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's up, Dracula?
I should have been a vampire Sith Lord. That would have been cool.
Oh, you should have been, dude. They kind of made what's his name? He was kind of like Dracula, like the robot. I can't believe
Hey, that's cool, man. Horror's great. And then my second favorite passion of the film is I also like my action too, man. I just love my John Wicks. They're so bloody and fun.
Yes, I love them.
I love John Wick too.
I'm super obsessed.
All the John Wicks. John Wick too. Yeah, they're all great.
Yeah, and they did a YouTube video of the first John Wick film of how many kills he did with a gun.
Oh gosh, wow. I feel like I touched on that. It was crazy, and I was like, I love it. That's a great. I'm lately I've been watching a lot of Tom Cruise, and I'm just I gotta go back to Keanu.
No, but in Mission Impossible, he didn't even use the gun.
True.
Yeah.
He never fired a gun in that first Mission Impossible. I don't believe.
The new Batman movie was pretty awesome, action packed. I felt it at times.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for coming on and having a blast with me.
Hey, thank you so much for having us. This is awesome. Thank you.
Everybody have a great evening.